Oh God, what's happening to my face?
Adanna's scream shattered the crystal silence of Lagos's most exclusive gala. 300 of Nigeria's elite watched in horror as her flawless face began to contort, skin modeling like bruised fruit, features stretching grotesquely. Her ears elongated, pushing past her diamond earrings, sagging obscenely past her shoulders. The burgundy wig she'd borrowed from her best friend that morning had fused to her scalp, immovable. Chike Okonkwo, the billionaire who'd proposed to her just moments earlier, stood frozen with the ring box still open. His expression shifted from shock to revulsion in the space of a heartbeat. "Chike," Adana reached for him, her voice breaking. "Help me, please." He stepped back. Then again, I'll get help," he stammered and fled into the crowd. Phones rose like a forest, flashes exploded. Someone was already live streaming. Through her terror, Adanna's eyes found Mira hovering near the exit, her face pale with what looked like guilt or satisfaction. "The wig," Adanna realized with sickening clarity. "Mira gave me this wig. To understand what just happened, I need to take you back to exactly how it all began, exactly 2 months ago." Okonkwo Holdings occupied floors 42 through 48 of the chrome and glass tower on Adeola Odeku Street in Victoria Island. Mira Okafor's office was tucked into the 44th floor, just enough space for her drafting table, dual monitors, and a sliver view of the Atlantic if she craned her neck. It was 9:47 p.m. on a Friday when everything changed. She was alone, redesigning a Banana Island luxury project, obsessing over sight lines in light flow that her team leader would present as his own work. "Those sight lines are exceptional." Mira jumped, nearly spilling her coffee. Chike Okonkwo stood in the doorway, tie loosened, looking nothing like the polished billionaire from magazines. "Mr. Okonkwo," she shot to her feet. "I didn't know anyone else was still here." "Relax." His smile transformed his face from intimidating to almost boyish. "This is the Banana Island project, isn't it?" He studied her monitors. "This isn't refinement, it's a complete reimagining. You've turned functional design into something that breathes." They talked for 2 hours about architecture, Lagos's chaos, the responsibility of building luxury in a city where millions struggled. He listened, actually listened, challenging her ideas not to dismiss them, but to understand them better. "Have lunch with me next week," he said at the door. "I want to hear more of your ideas." Mira fell in love that night, not with who Chike was, but with how he made her feel, significant, seen, chosen. The lunches became routine, coffee meetings stretched into long conversations. Chike copied her on high-level projects, valued her opinions, brought her favorite oat milk lattes. For 7 weeks, Mira lived in a bubble of hope. Then Adana came home from New York. Adana burst into Mira's apartment, designer bags dropped carelessly, spinning in a circle. "I'm home. God, I missed you." They collapsed together like sisters, like they always had. Mira, the scholarship kid with straight A's. Adana, the surgeon's daughter whose beauty stopped conversations. "You look different," she said, studying her. "Glowing. Is it a man?" Mira told her about someone at work, carefully avoiding names. "He makes me feel seen." "You have to tell him. Life's too short for maybes." 2 days later, at Dr. Mbike's 60th birthday gala at the Wheatbaker Hotel, Mira saw Chike across the ballroom. Her heart soared as he walked toward her. This is it. This is where everything changes. "Chike!" Mira grabbed her arm. "Oh my God, is that Chike Okonkwo?" Mira watched it happen, the exact moment Chike saw Adana and forgot the rest of the world existed. His expression transformed, wonder, awe, the look of a man struck by lightning. "Mira," Chike said, but his eyes never left Adana's face. "I didn't know you'd be here." They talked for 25 agonizing minutes. Mira watched Chike's body language shift toward Adana, watched his laughs come quicker, watched him lean closer when she spoke. When he left, Adana turned to her with dawning horror. "That's him, isn't it? The man you're falling for?" Mira couldn't speak. "Then he's off limits, completely." Adana squeezed her hands. "I'm not interested anyway." But 3 weeks later, after Chike had sent flowers, called repeatedly, shown up at her fashion show, Adana finally said yes to dinner. "He told me you approved, that you wanted me to give him a chance." Mira felt something inside her crack. "And you just believed him?" "I tried calling you all afternoon, and honestly, you never told him how you feel." Within weeks, Chike and Adana were Lagos's golden couple, on blogs, at galleries, on his yacht, and Mira stopped attending events, stopped lingering after meetings, worked 18-hour days, and felt nothing. Until Chike stopped by her office one November afternoon. "I'm proposing to Adana at the annual gala next month." He was vibrating with excitement. "I want you there, front row. You're one of my closest friends, and none of this would have happened without you. Thank you for helping me see what was right in front of me." That evening, Mira opened her bedside drawer and stared at the vial she'd been keeping there for weeks. I'd love to know, what part of the world are you watching this video from? Do well to leave your reply in the comment section. Let's connect. Also, stories like this take a time to put together. I'd love it if you can support me by hitting that subscribe button and giving this video a like. Now, let's get back into the story. The address in Ikeja looked nothing like a shrine, just a faded yellow building with rusty bars and a sign reading Mama Sade, Herbal Remedies. The woman who answered had tribal marks on her cheeks and eyes that saw through everything. "I know why you are here. Come in." The interior was cluttered with herbs, roots, strange things. Candles burned in corners, mirrors hung covered with black cloth. Mira told her everything about Chike, about Adana, about years of being appreciated but never desired. "You don't want the man," Mama Sade said. "You want to be chosen, but you cannot make someone love you. Magic doesn't work that way." "Then what can you do?" "I can remove the competition. Take from her what you think she has." The woman's eyes were sad. "But beauty is woven into identity. If I curse her appearance, you're taking her armor, her power, her sense of self." "Will it hurt her? Does it matter?" Mira should have walked away. Instead, she whispered, "How much?" Mama Sade produced a vial of amber oil. "Apply this to something she'll wear close to her head. The transformation will be permanent." "Permanent?" Mira's voice cracked. "There is no just long enough in magic. She will carry this mark for life." Mama Sade leaned forward. "And the curse works on you too. Every time you see her face, you'll remember. That weight never lifts." Mira transferred 500,000 naira, her entire savings, right there. "Go with your conscience, if you have any left." The morning of the gala, Adana texted, "I need your help. Please, you're still my best friend." Mira arrived at Adana's penthouse to chaos. Stylists, makeup artists, bridesmaids drinking mimosas. When Adana dismissed everyone, she pulled Mira into a fierce hug. "I've missed you so much. These weeks have been hell without you." "You seemed happy enough in photos," Mira said carefully. "Photos are just photos." Adana's eyes were red-rimmed. "Mira, do you still have feelings for Chike?"
This was the moment, the last chance for truth. "No," Mira lied. "I got over it. I'm happy for you." Relief flooded Adanna's face. "Thank God. Now help me. I can't decide on hair. I was thinking the burgundy wig from my old apartment." "Actually," Mira heard herself say, "I just bought a new burgundy wig. Same style, better quality. Let me grab it." In her apartment, Mira locked herself in the bathroom and applied the oil to every strand, watching it disappear like water into sand. Permanent devastation. "I'm sorry," Mira whispered, "but I can't watch you take this too." Back at the penthouse, Adana placed the wig on her head, adjusting it in the mirror. "It's perfect. You always have the best taste." "You look perfect," Mira said, and meant it, for now. The Echo Hotel's royal suite glittered with crystal chandeliers and thousands of white roses. Mira found a spot near the terrace doors, close enough to see, far enough to disappear. Adana arrived on Chike's arm, stunning in midnight blue Valentino, the burgundy wig cascading in perfect curls. Heads turned, conversation stopped. During dinner, Adana's hand flew to her face suddenly, confused. She touched her skin, fingers trembling. The string quartet played. Chike led Adana onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a charity event." He dropped to one knee, pulling out a Tiffany box. "Adanna Mbeke, you are the most extraordinary woman." That's when it started. Mottling spread across Adana's face like spilled ink. Her features elongated grotesquely. She clawed at the wig, but it wouldn't budge, fused to her scalp. Someone screamed. Her ears began growing, pushing past her earrings, sagging obscenely past her shoulders. "Chike!" Adana reached for him desperately. "Help me!" He stood, face pale with horror, and stepped back. I'll get help." Then he fled. Phones rose everywhere. The transformation completed in front of 300 witnesses. Adana's beautiful face now a grotesque mask. Through the chaos, Adana's eyes found Mira's. "The wig," she said clearly. "Mira gave me this wig." Every head turned, and Mira ran, the weight of what she'd done crashing down like a collapsing building.
Have you hit the subscribe button yet? If you haven't, now would be a good time to do so.
By 3 a.m., the videos were viral. #Adana curse trended worldwide. By dawn, police were at Mira's door. Dr. Mbeke's security had surveillance footage, bank records, witness testimonies. "You cursed her," Bio said in the interrogation room. "Why?" The truth burst out. "Because I loved him first. Because I'm tired of working 3 times as hard. Because I wanted just once to be chosen." "So you destroyed her." Mira's company fired her. Chike released a statement condemning her. The trial was swift, guilty on all counts. 2 years in prison, massive restitution, her career destroyed. But the worst part? Adana had tried to kill herself, took pills because she couldn't bear her reflection. Her mother found her in time. And Chike, he'd ended their engagement via lawyers, never visited her at the hospital, married someone else within a year. At trial, Adana testified, her scarred face exposed to the courtroom. "I would have stepped aside," she said, looking at Mira with painful clarity. "If you'd told me you loved him, I would have walked away, because you mattered more than any man. But you chose destruction over conversation." As they led Mira away in handcuffs, their eyes met one final time. The curse hadn't just destroyed Adana's beauty, it had murdered their friendship and revealed that jealousy, not magic, had made Mira a monster. 6 months after the curse, Adana's ears had shrunk back to normal size. Medical intervention combined with time had reversed that part of the transformation. but her face still bore scars, mottled patches that no amount of surgery could fully erase. She'd tried to hide at first, but isolation felt like another prison, so she forced herself outside. She started the Scarred Beauty Initiative, visiting burn units, speaking with acid attack survivors, advocating for people society preferred to ignore. That's where she met Chike Okonkwo. He was presenting a check to the Lagos University Teaching Hospital burn unit, 50 million naira from his telecommunications empire. Chike was one of Nigeria's wealthiest men, known for his strategic brilliance and his reclusiveness. He rarely did public events, but his younger sister had been in a car accident years ago, leaving her with facial scars. When Adana stood to speak that day, she wore no makeup, no head wrap, just her face, scarred and honest. "I was once valued only for my beauty," she said to the gathered survivors. "Losing it felt like death, but I've learned something. Beauty was my weakest asset. My strength, my voice, my capacity to love, those are permanent." After her speech, Chike approached her. He was tall, mid-40s, with silver threading his temples and eyes that held both intelligence and kindness. "That was powerful," he said. "I'm Chike Okonkwo. I'd like to discuss funding for your foundation." They met for coffee the next week. He asked thoughtful questions about her work, her vision, her goals. He didn't stare at her scars or pretend they weren't there. He simply saw past them to the person underneath. "Why telecommunications?" she asked, turning the conversation to him. "Because communication connects people, bridges distances." He smiled. "My sister, after her accident, people treated her differently. She became isolated. I built a business that makes sure no one has to be alone." Adana felt something shift in her chest. Their coffee meetings became regular. Chike funded her foundation generously, but more than that, he showed up. He visited the community centers being built, talked with survivors, listened to their stories. One evening, as they walked along Bar Beach, Adana finally asked, "Why are you doing all this? The funding, the time, everything." Chike stopped, turning to face her as waves crashed behind them. "Because the first time I saw you speak, I saw someone who'd turned pain into purpose. That's rare. That's beautiful." "I'm not beautiful anymore," Adana said quietly. "You're wrong." He reached out, gently touching one of the scars on her cheek. "This is beautiful. It's evidence that you survived something that should have destroyed you. It's a map of your strength." Adana's breath caught. For the first time since the curse, someone looked at her scars and saw beauty, not despite them, but because of what they represented. "I'm afraid," she whispered. "The last man who proposed to me ran when my face changed. Then he was a fool." Chike's voice was firm. "I'm not asking you to trust me immediately. I'm asking for a chance to prove I'm different, to show you that some men see more than surfaces." Over the next year, he did exactly that. When Adana had nightmares about the gala, he held her. When she struggled with public speaking, he sat in the front row. When tabloids ran cruel headlines about her appearance, he held a press conference defending her dignity. He courted her with intention, jazz concerts because she loved the music, quiet dinners at her favorite restaurants, long drives where they talked about everything and nothing. He learned her fears, her dreams, her favorite poems. He met her parents and won over her skeptical father with his sincerity. "He's nothing like Chike," her mother observed one evening. "No," Adana agreed, smiling. "He's better. He chose me at my lowest, not my highest." 18 months after they met, Chike proposed, not at a gala, not with 300 witnesses, but on the same beach where they'd first been honest with each other. Adana Chike Okonkwo, he said, kneeling in the sand as the sun set over the Atlantic, you are the strongest, most compassionate woman I've ever known. Your scars don't diminish your beauty. They amplify it. They prove you're a survivor. Will you marry me? Through happy tears, she said yes. Their wedding was intimate, 100 guests in a garment ceremony. Adana wore her scars openly, her face radiant with genuine joy. No designer gown to hide behind, no elaborate makeup, just her, honest and whole, marrying a man who'd chosen her not for her face, but for her heart. As they danced at the reception, Adana whispered, "Thank you for seeing me." "Thank you for letting me," Emeka replied, kissing her scarred cheek tenderly. The foundation flourished under their joint leadership. They had 2 children, a daughter and a son, who grew up knowing their mother's story, learning that true beauty comes from how you treat others, not how you look. Adana never forgot what Mira had done. The scars were a daily reminder, but she also never let that betrayal define her. She'd been given a second chance at love, at purpose, at life, and she seized it with both hands. Mira served her time and emerged thin, gray, aged beyond her years. No firm would hire her. She worked reception at a small import company, lived in a one-room in Surulere, alone with her guilt. Late one night, she'd search Adana's name online. The articles showed a woman transformed, not physically back to what she was, but into something more powerful. Adana with Emeka at charity galas, Adana speaking at the UN about survivor advocacy, Adana's foundation opening its 10th community center, and photos from Adana's wedding to Chike Okonkwo, one of Nigeria's most eligible billionaires, where she'd worn her scars like badges of honor and looked genuinely, radiantly happy. One Saturday afternoon, Mira saw them at the Palms shopping mall. Emeka was carrying their baby daughter while their son held Adana's hand. They were laughing at something the boy said, looking like a family that had always been whole. Adana's eyes met Mira's across the crowded space. Time stopped. Then Adana did something unexpected. She smiled, not cruelly, not victoriously, just a small, sad acknowledgement that they both survived their story, even if only one of them had found happiness on the other side. Mira nodded back, tears streaming down her face. Adana turned to Emeka, who kissed her scarred cheek tenderly, and they walked toward the cinema, a family built on truth, on choosing each other daily, on love that saw past surfaces to soul. And Mira stood there in the grocery aisle, finally understanding what she'd lost. Not a man who'd never seen her, not a career she might have rebuilt, but a friendship that had been real, and a woman who deserved so much better than Mira's jealousy. Adana had survived the curse and found love again,